Yo, what's up YouTube? Chapter 1000, we made it. And I absolutely love One Piece manga chapter 1000. Due to the dynamics we got in the chapter, it was only right that I'd make this video. We are truly in the thick of the Full Emperor saga, and after reading the chapter and the panel of Luffy remembering all the sacrifices like Yasui's death and the wishes of the Scabbards, including Momonosuke's wish to take down Kaido, I decided to go back and read Zo. And can you believe that we got Zo in 2015? It honestly doesn't feel that long ago for me, but that just goes to show you how engrossed in the story I am. Now before I go on a tangent, the actual reason I went back to Zo is because this is where the full Yonko saga began. We had the formation of the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance, or something along those lines, and they formed this alliance in order to take out Kaido. However, here comes Big Mom to throw a spanner in the works by trying to marry off one of her daughters to Sanji. The reason for her doing this was to get her hands on Germa's technology, but honestly, this was just the start of it all. But why is that quick whistle stop tour important? Well, that's because the Full Emperor saga is coming to an end. The balance of powers is something that's been referenced or highlighted quite a few times in One Piece, and this is in reference to the three great powers that exist in the Marines, the Warlords and the Emperors. And without going into too much detail, the five elders feared that if the balance got disrupted, the world itself could descend into dismay, or in other words, things would just become a complete mess. So much that they feared that even the loss of a single warlord could disrupt the balance, which is why Luffy's profile has continued to rise amidst him defeating Crocodile, Moria and so on. But fast forward to chapter 1000 and Luffy, Kid, Law, Zoro and Killer are face to face with two of the four Yonko. Two of the old guard that sit on top of the pirate world, and this is shaping up to completely shift the dynamic of the verse and make way for the new players. But just who are these new players? Well, this all depends on the outcome of this battle. The three captains we have at the top of Onigashima right now is Luffy, Kid and Law, and so logic would suggest that the new Yonko would be derived from these three. One thing I'm absolutely certain of right now is that Kaido most definitely will be taking out this arc, and to me, with his era of being a Yonko over, this would arguably make room for another individual to replace him. But I don't necessarily believe that to be the case. If you all just remember what I spoke on in regards to the balance, I'm a believer that the world of One Piece is currently unbalanced, and here's why. Post Marineford, we found out that Sengoku is ultimately retired, and Aokiji and Akainu fought in order for the position of Fleet Admiral. With Akainu's success in what we believe was an extreme diff fight, Aokiji left the Marines, which freed up two spots in the Admiral position. The Marines have maintained their balance by filling these positions with the introduction of Fujitora and Greenbull. Moving on to the Warlords, post-Reverie, the Warlord system was abolished. However, prior to this, the Marines would always replace the members who were taken out or left, such as Jinbei, Law, Crocodile and Weevil. Now the abolition of the Warlord system was not done on a whim, as the Marines had to ensure that they had a power in place that could replace these Warlords, which we now know to be the SSG. Now although as readers we know very little, it can be assumed that the SSG are truly a force, if they can replace the likes of Dofi, Mihawk and Kuma, and of course my darling Boa. So this leads us to the final power, which balances the seas, and that's the Yonko. The original Yonko we were introduced to were Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido and Shanks. However, with Whitebeard's passing, Blackbeard took the position of Yonko. Well, that was after claiming all of Whitebeard's territories, which once again shows how the balance has been maintained. But post Whole Cake Island, with the influence of big news, Luffy was proclaimed to be the fifth Yonko, which I believe threw the balance dynamics off. But that's to be corrected now. And talking about correct things to do, I would really appreciate it if you would take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it means so much to me. But let's get back into the video. So as mentioned, the correction to balance the powers will occur once Kaido and Big Mom are taken out, because that will leave Shanks and Blackbeard as the two remaining Yonko. Now most theories believe that one of these spots is guaranteed to be Luffy's, with the remaining spot up for grabs. And if I'm honest, it sounds about right, but I don't necessarily agree with this. I've been quite consistent with not believing that Big Mom dies or anything here, but for the sake of this video, let's just imagine she's taken out of the equation. My immediate thought is Eustace Kid acclaiming the position of Yonko. Currently on the top of Onigashima, I think Oda is going to give Kid his accolades. Since Sabodi and finding out Kid's bounty, we've all been told that Kid is meant to be Luffy's rival. However, I don't think many of us believe he has quite lived up to this expectation. And for this reason, I believe this will be corrected now. I completely write off Law, as I almost see him as an honorary straw hat, and I don't believe he has the crew to compete. Oda purposely gave Luffy and Kid their right hand men, who are part of the worst generation in Zoro and Killer, and has even had them clash, although both of them were nerfed at the time. I'm actually excited to see how this battle goes down, and seeing Kid take the position of Yonko on these seas. So here we are, Shanks, Blackbeard, Luffy and Kid as the 4 Yonko, right? Well, not quite. And the reason I say this is because I don't think Luffy will claim the name of an emperor. Luffy's told us plenty of times he doesn't want to rule over anything, and he highlighted this on Dressrosa, where he didn't even want to be the ruler of the Grand Fleet. And that's so typical of Luffy, because as we know, being a Yonko isn't really his thing. His aim is to be the Pirate King. But balance, balance, balance. And due to this, I have a wild card as to who I think the final Yonko will be. And it's someone I missed out purposely when I spoke about the Warlords. It's Buggy. Yes, I've said it. It's the GOAT, Buggy the Clown. And for me, it's in tune with his character. And it's certainly such an Oda thing to do. Buggy has been living a lie for years now. And with the abolishing of the Warlord system, Buggy's arrest would be pointless. So what better for him to gain some more notorious followers and in turn becoming an even bigger fraud. Think about it, Buggy was on Roger's ship, supposedly acquaintances with Shanks, arguably associated with Luffy. I mean, he even returned Luffy's hat to him during Marineford. I can easily see a way where Oda could write Buggy as a Yonko. And that's what I'm going with. But just as a side note, this isn't my immediate expectation. After Wano, I can see the main change to the dynamic being the introduction of Kid. I'm going to keep Luffy in his current position and add Kid to the dynamics for now. But ultimately, when Luffy becomes Pirate King, Buggy will be a Yonko. Because trust me. But anyway, my intention was to keep this video really short. I've rambled on quite a bit, but I do still think that Blackbeard and Shanks will still be in the picture after Wano, which is why I still have them in the picture. I do honestly think long term there are some other candidates that could potentially throw their names into the circle. I know people talk about the likes of Katakuri for sure, as there's been a little, you could say foreshadowing by the Big Mom Pirates, not only on Whole Cake, but also on the arrival to Wano. But I honestly do think it the most Oda way possible that Buggy is a massive candidate, and someone who could actually be put in place by the world government to maintain the balance of things, as the dynamics of the verse are being thrown off. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think Big Mom and Kaido survive Wano? Do you think they keep their statuses as Yonko? Or do you think there's going to be a new generation of Yonko that takes the world into the new dawn as foreshadowed by Odin? Let me know down in the comment section and let's discuss, because I honestly do think this is an interesting conversation. But as always, if you like anything I've had to say, please make sure you leave a like on the video, as it tells me I'm doing something right. And if you would like to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss out when I drop more gems just like this. Safe.